Now we shall see what is strain energy due to bending. Okay. So here again we are having some assumptions. What are those assumptions? A prismatic beam subjected to loads as shown in figure. Figures are in the next diagram. The loads are assumed to act on beam in a plane containing axis of symmetry of cross section and beam axis. Then it is assumed that transverse cross sections which are perpendicular to centroidal axis remain plane and perpendicular to the centroidal axis of beam as shown in figure. I will explain this in short. So there is a very typical loading shown on the simply supported beam. If you see, uh, there are two concentric point loads. It means they are spaced at equal length from each other as well as from the support. So they are symmetrically placed. Okay, they are symmetrically placed. And one more thing is, whatever the shear force is there between the two point loads, it is zero. Okay, there is no shear force taking place for the middle one third length of the beam. Okay, this is one thing. And for the remaining two one third parts of the beam, there are shear forces. One is positive, another is negative. Okay. And if you see, the bending moment is maximum and constant in this region. Which region? Middle one third part. So uh, our theory of strain energy is applicable to this assumption. That is, shear force is zero in the middle one third part and bending moment is maximum in the middle one third part. Now, there is one more thing that needs to be considered. We have considered one cross section. Okay, there is one cross section that we have considered whose length is dx here. And if you uh, what we can say, consider the complete length of the beam, it will be something like this. I'll just try to show you. This is the beam after bending. Okay, beam after bending, and this is very a large part of the, or the, we can say, enlarged part of the uh, beam after bending. Okay, so this is beam after bending, and in this we have considered one this small part. Okay, and here if you see, there is no deformation. This is neutral axis. This is neutral axis. Neutral axis is such that for this particular part which is selected, no deformation is taking place. Okay, the middle line is neutral axis, this one, and this is top edge of the beam, this is bottom edge of the beam, this is the deformed shape of the beam. Okay, and here if you see, the top layers of the beam which are above the neutral axis, they are under compression. Here I have written compression. So this part of the beam is subjected to compression everywhere along the length, and below the neutral axis it is subjected to tension or elongation. Okay, so this is basic simple theory. And again, if you see above the neutral axis, which is here below diagram, if you see here, this is neutral axis dotted line. Above this there are compressive forces or stresses, and below the neutral axis there are tensile stresses. Okay, so what we have done here is we have applied the equation of flexural formula. Do you remember flexural formula? M by I is equal to E by I. Okay, F by Y is equal to M by I is equal to E by R. This is the equation. Fy Mi Er. So F by Y, F is stress. Okay, so now we are applying this equation for the small part which is considered in the previous diagram, which is here. For this part, we are applying that. Okay. So this is d theta. What is d theta? The small length or the rotation d theta. Okay. It is equal to 1 upon r into ds. So angle is equal to arc length upon radius. Okay. Radius is capital R. Okay, radius is capital R, radius of curvature, and d theta by ds. What is d theta? Angle. And what is ds? Arc length. Okay, where is that? It is here. This is arc length. Okay, so this equation we have equated to flexural formula. So consider a small segment of beam of length subjected to bending moment as shown in figure. One cross section rotates about another cross section by amount d theta, and that is mathematically calculated as angle is equal to arc length upon radius. So this is first part of the equation. Okay, this one. This has been equated to flexural formula. Okay, so here R is radius of curvature, EI is flexural rigidity, and work done by moment M through angle theta, that will be half M d theta. Similar to axial load, okay, similar to axial load, strain energy due to bending is half M d theta, but this is for the small part which is considered, which is for small part of the section which is considered of length ds. Okay, now this is work done by moment or due to bending. Okay, for small part we want work done for the complete length of the beam due to bending. So again we will have to apply integration. So first of all we have replaced d theta in above equation. This is here d theta by this equation. Okay, so m upon ei into ds we have substituted here instead of d theta. So what will be our equation? Du is equal to m square ds upon 2 ei. Okay, m square ds upon 2 ei, which is equation number 3. Now you integrate this equation. Okay, now you integrate this equation and you will get strain energy stored in the beam of length L due to bending. So it is m square ds upon 2 ei, integration of m square ds upon 2 ei. Okay, so this is the derivation. That's it. Very simple.